Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Di, and today I'm sharing with you my thoughts on the Monochrome Manga Club selections for the month of December. So in December, we read Volume 1 of A Sign of Affection. This is by Sue Morishita, published by Kodansha, rated older teen. We read Volume 1 of Mr. Villain's Day Off by Yu Morikawa, published by Square Enix Manga, rated teen. We finished our series read of Persona 4 by reading volumes 11, 12, and 13 by Shuji Sogabe and Atlas, published by Udon Entertainment, and I would say these were older teen. And we also read volumes 19, 20, and 21 of Full Metal Alchemist by Hiromu Arakawa, published by Viz and rated teen. So if you haven't checked out one of these videos from me before, the Monochrome Manga Club is an in-real-life manga club that I host at local Barnes & Noble. And we usually read 2 first-in-the-series selections, and we read 2 series reads. So since this is a first impressions video, I will not be talking about Persona or Full Metal in this video. But if you'd like to hear my thoughts on those, you can check out my D-Since19 diaries for the week. But I will be sharing with you my thoughts on A Sign of Affection and Mr. Villain's Day Off here. And then at the end of this video, I will share with you what our selections for the month of January will be. So let's start off with A Sign of Affection. So this is a story about our female character here whose name is Yuki. And she is deaf, and she is kind of experiencing life for the first time outside of her normal day-to-day. So she is on a train and she gets tapped on the shoulder by someone who needs directions somewhere, and she doesn't know how to communicate back to him that she is deaf, and so it's a little bit harder for her to understand what he's trying to ask of her. When a guy comes in and helps with the situation, tells the guy what he needs to know, and then they start getting to know each other. This guy that kind of came in and helped her out. So this volume really explores her and him getting to know each other. His name is Itsuomi, and he has a thing for languages. I think in the beginning of this volume, we find out how many he knows. And so when he meets Yuki and finds out that she's deaf, he starts to try to find ways to communicate with her. And we're pretty much just, following them, getting to know each other, Itsuomi finding ways to communicate with Yuki, and Yuki kind of experiencing romantic feelings for the first time. This is a series that I thought that I was really going to enjoy, so I do have a couple more volumes of this series. But I will say that this volume was kind of lackluster for me. I don't enjoy Itsuomi's speech pattern, I guess you'd call it. Everything that he asks Yuki ends with "or not." So he'll ask her, "Do you want to do something?" And he'll follow that up with "or not." He won't just ask, "Hey, do you want to do something?" It's always, do you want to do something or not? Do you want this or not? Do you want that or not? And I find that to be a little bit irritating. I don't enjoy his speech patterns. The way he acts towards Yuki is kind of not really clear on his intentions. There are some times when you feel he's got interest in her. There are other times when you feel like he's just curious about how she does things, being someone who's deaf, how she communicates with people, how her life is like as a deaf person. But there are also times where you kind of feel like he's genuinely interested, but because we're so early in the series, it's not clear. It's not clear. I do feel like this whole series will explore a relationship between the two of our characters here. But I also kind of feel like this was one of those really insta-love type of stories, because Yuki falls immediately for this guy, and I don't like that. I don't understand what's so great about Itsuomi. And so, yeah, it might just be, because I'm so much older than these characters, And I just don't understand that. But I don't understand why she immediately fell for him. Like, I don't find him to be somebody to be immediately fallen for. I don't find him to be, like, swoon worthy or anything like that, especially with how he talks to her. Like, that, like, or not ending to everything he asks her really, really gets on my nerves. That being said, it was kind of cute. I'm interested to see where things will go with these two characters. I do have a couple of questions on Itsuomi and his life. And then there's another character in here that kind of got on my nerves as well. So there's that character, and I'm kind of not too interested in that character either. But I'm still willing to explore more of this series. Like I said, I do have more volumes of this. The art style was gorgeous. I just have a few issues with what happened in this volume. So, yeah. I don't know if I will continue reading this one immediately because I have started already Shortcake Cake by Sue Morishita. And I think I want to continue with that series first. That series definitely got my attention more. And I don't have as many issues with that series as I had with this volume. And so I think what I'll do is read Shortcake Cake first and then continue with this series. But it was interesting. It was enjoyable. It was entertaining. I will be continuing with this series, but I didn't find this particular volume to be all that spectacular. So it was a little bit disappointing for me because I had high hopes for this series, but you know, what can you do, right? And then Mr. Villain's Day Off. This is a story about an evil supervillain on his day off. So this guy really, really wants to disconnect from his job. On his day off, he does not want to see anybody he works with. He doesn't want to hear about anything that has to do with his job. Even if one of his coworkers sees him in a grocery store, he does not recognize that they exist. They'll come up to talk to him and be all like, hey, I saw you at the supermarket. And he's like, no, that wasn't me. I don't know what you're talking about. He really, really wants to disconnect from his job. So on his day off, it's a day for him to enjoy what he wants to do. And so that's what we explore in this volume. Obviously, you can tell here that he has a thing for pandas. And so we definitely see him visiting pandas at the zoo. He not only has a thing for pandas, but he has things for other cute animals. You can see that there is a character here. Because our villain works for a super evil entity, you know, there's got to be a group of people that combat them, right? So this guy here in the corner belongs to the Rangers. And he's the Red Ranger. Kind of like, you know, the Power Rangers. They kind of refer to them as themselves as the Rangers, and he's the Red Ranger. And so these two meet each other a couple times in this volume, and it's really interesting to see their interactions because this guy is so against even being the person that he is at his job. Even his look is completely different. He has a work look and he has a casual look. And so these are just a bunch of short stories about what Mr. Villain does on his days off. I will say that there is a lot of repetition. There is a lot of repetition at the beginning of each story because each story starts off the same. It says, I am an elite leader in the evil league which battles every day to destroy humanity and claim Earth for our home world. That said, today is my day off. And so almost every, if not all, I think there might have been one or two in here of the short stories start off that way. But then we see what he does on his day off. And it's just really, really cute. It was very funny. I found a lot of his interactions to be kind of heartwarming. He definitely has heartwarming interactions as this evil guy. But on his day off, he's completely different. And the things that he enjoys are really cute. I think with the way that my work life has been recently, it's been high stress. I've been working really late hours. I definitely can identify with this character not wanting to have anything to do with work on their day off. And I'm the type of person that will get really, really irritated if I get a call from work and I am off. I'm not supposed to be working, So I can definitely understand where this character is coming from. I think this volume definitely was read at the right time for me. It was a volume that was really fluffy. It was really entertaining. It was comedic. And it was just what I needed when I needed it. So I will definitely be continuing with this series. It is definitely fluffy, but there is a time and place for that for me. And I really, really enjoyed this volume. So definitely will be reading more of this. Looking forward to seeing what else Mr. Villain does on his days off and how he ends up interacting with other people that he meets on those days. So I really enjoyed that one. So that is everything that I thought of our selections for December. Now, before I let you go, I do want to let you know what we will be reading for the month of January. So as I mentioned to you, we did finish our series read of Persona 4. So we will be starting a new series in the month of January, and that series will be Assassination Classroom by Yusei Matsui. So this was voted on by my Monochrome Manga Club members, and so we will be reading 2 volumes every month until we're done. So we'll be reading volume 1 and 2 of Assassination Classroom. This one is available on the Shonen Jump app if you'd like to join us in reading it. So this one is about the students in class 3E of Kunagigaoka Junior High who have a new teacher, an alien octopus with bizarre powers and unlimited strength, who's just destroyed the moon and is threatening to destroy the earth unless they can kill him first. So I have actually watched most of the anime adaptation of this series. So this is not going to be like fresh for me, though it's been a few years since we watched the anime. I will say that I did enjoy most of what I watched, but as we got closer to the end, the more I didn't want the series to finish, or at least I didn't want to see how the series finished. So I'm a little bit apprehensive about reading this with my members, but the members wanted to read this, so I will have to read to the end of this series. But this was really interesting from what I can remember. I am looking forward to reliving at least the beginning portion of the series, but I'm kind of dreading actually completing the series just because I feel like it's going to be really, really sad. And I am not up for sad things most of the time. But we've got quite a few volumes to go before we get there. And so I'm looking forward to reliving the beginning of the series, meeting all of our characters again, and spending time with them and Koto Sensei. So we will be reading, like I said, volumes 1 and 2 as our new series read. We will also be continuing our series read of Full Metal Alchemist with volumes 22, 23, and 24. So looking forward to getting through that as well. And we're almost done with that one as well. So we will definitely be on the lookout for another series to start. I think in March we will be finishing. We'll be finishing the series in February. So we'll be starting a new one in March. And then for our first in a series selections, we have another one that was suggested by one of my members. And this is Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint Volume 1. So this is available on Webtoons if you'd like to read it there, or it has just recently been released physically by Issei Press. And I believe this is rated older teen, and it's by Sing Song, who is the author of World After the Fall, which we have also read for the Monochrome Manga Club. So this one is about an office worker who enjoys an online novel that's so obscure that he's the only one who reads it. But then the story ends, and so does the world. People all around the globe suddenly find themselves being massacred by horrific monsters or pitted against each other in sadistic scenarios straight out of the novel. However, only our main character is aware that this is merely the first chapter of what's to come. Knowing that devastating plot twists are on the horizon, he can no longer afford to sit back as a reader. It's time for him to step up and write his own destiny. So the member that had suggested this one to us has been reading this one on Webtoon and gushing about it for a long time. So when we found out that it was being released physically, I definitely knew that it needed to be one of our selections, and so I put it on the slate for January. I am actually really looking forward to this one. It sounds really interesting, and after hearing my member gush about it so much, I'm really, really curious. And so I'm glad to slate this one in for January and see what this one's all about. And then our other volume 1 will be volume 1 of Obey Me, the comic. This one is story and art by Subaru Nito, original work by NTT Soulmare. This one is published by 7 Seas Rated Teen. So this is based on a mobile game. I thought it would be interesting to read this one because we did read Twisted Wonderland a few months ago, which is also a mobile game. I don't know if any of the members are actually playing this mobile game, but this does have an anime adaptation. The episodes are about 5 minutes long. I've watched a couple of them and was interested enough. So I'm looking forward to reading this one. This one says, as the underworld's school bell rings, a little sheep wakes up at the Royal Academy of Diavolo in the Devildom, where 7 eccentric demon brothers await. This woolly creature is actually a human exchange student, so how did they end up a sheep? Everything is a blank. Now the sheep must figure out how to turn back into a human and regain their memories as Lucifer and the other demons raise hell with devilish hijinks. So we've got all of our characters here on the back. So there's Satan, Belphegor, Mammon, Beelzebub, Asmodeus, and Leviathan. And so Lucifer is not actually on the back here, but I thought it sounded interesting. Like I said, I watched about 2 of the episodes. They used to be on YouTube. I don't know if they are still, but yeah, sounded interesting. Like the art style. I'm looking forward to reading this. I think there's going to be a lot of hijinks in here as well. So yeah, definitely looking forward to reading that one with my members and hearing them talk about it, because when we had our discussion for Twisted Wonderland, it was quite lively. So it'll be interesting. So that is everything that I have for you today. Let me know down in the comments below if you've read any of the titles that I talked about in this video, but please no spoilers. And like I said, if you'd like to join us in reading any of our selections, you can do so by commenting down below and letting me know your thoughts, or joining our Discord, which is also linked down in the description box below. And if nothing else, and you'd just like to let me know that you were here, if you could leave me some kind of celebratory emoji for the beginning of the new year, that would be greatly appreciated and would really help me out. And that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.